So back to our handsome Mr. A. We were just working a little bit with some of those lovely different positions to rotate through to create engagement and redirection from distractions or the environment. So when working with the handsome guy, if there's ever moments where he's really struggling with over-arousal, I know I quickly touched base on making sure that certain needs or certain things for him have been met. Obviously, there's going to be times where your life is crazy. I believe you guys have kids, or if not, don't worry. But, there's going to be moments where our lives are a bit hectic and we can't always necessarily fit in everything for everyone, and I understand. But I would highly recommend, maybe if, let's say, for example, he really enjoys some searching for items or puzzle toys, make sure that, too, training can also just be a few minutes here and there throughout the day. It does not have to be 30 minutes that you have to practice with the dog. I would, though, recommend that if you have little chunks throughout the day, that's even better for you and for him for some of this lovely retention with new material or old that we're trying to master. So for the handsome guy, if you're, again, really struggling with certain tasks, I know you said you were going to email me a few more topics. For now, let's say we're going to try and work a little bit with some of that impulse control, so waiting and then being called. Obviously, recalls can happen from the environment too. So we'll dive into some recall practice with some of the other beauties. I do also highly recommend for all the students, I'm not saying you have to watch everybody's videos from each different student, but sometimes I do recommend it because even though I started with certain tests with one family member's pup, I then rotate, and then some of the things that you might be struggling with, I did maybe some of those skills with a different pup versus your dog, and we rotate that way. Because everybody's pups are coming from a different starting point. Some, this is their very first rodeo. So the three other beauties, it's their first day for the program. Mr. A has been here for a previous program, so he's already done the doggy day school today and previous sessions. So this is not very novel to him. So remember, their first day may not be the most pristine or gorgeous thing you've ever seen, but I mostly want them just to feel safe, comfortable, and feel that the environment is somewhere fun to do easy peasy skills, especially in the beginning. So let's say Mr. Handsome, he's like blowing his little cheeks as he's panting because his mouth is closed, but he's still panting through his little cheeks. So what I want to try to work on with him is working some gorgeous recalls, but also from either a wait or from a find it. So let's say your babe doesn't quite have a wait yet. Wait is going to be hold back, sir or madam, until I call you to me, or wait until I release you to go grab your dish or grab, for example, a toy or some retrieving item or situation like that. So let's say, for example, his cheeks are killing me. Let's say, for example, we're going to do a couple find its. He's like, oh my gosh, I guess I could get up. He's already winded. So let's say, for example, Mr. A is pooped out. That does happen. I'm going to see if I can get him up and wiggling. Come on, sir. Good job. So we'll do a little find it. So the benefit of sometimes doing a find it within a recall is it's not as challenging as sometimes doing a stationary, like a wait and then calling. So for some puppies, you may find that you have to do a find it because staying still is hard. And then from there, Allston, come. Yes, and then feed for that response. Gorgeous. Ready? We'll do another little find it. So if puppies are really struggling staying still, find it with recall from there. And if, let's say, you're busy blabbing and you can't actually say your slogan, or your pup heads your direction on their own, you would still want to feed for that orientation to you. Because again, you're building up a great deposit into this bank account of behavior. So if Mr. A heads my direction and I don't feed him, but later I'd love to have him recall to me, I've lost out on another moment where he would have been right heading towards me. So again, I'm going to send him away. So again, then we'll do again, come. Nice, feed for that recall. Again, send the handsome guy away. And then right here, Allston, come. Oh my goodness, so tired. Good job. So let's say he's doing pretty well with these recalls from a find it. You could also be doing recalls just simply from the yard. He could be sniffing or distracted. You have him check in and you send him away to go get distracted again and call him from that again. So now let's say I want to work on my wait. Everybody might have different hand signals. That's fine. If for some reason I'm using the wrong ones and you have distinct ones, let me know. So typically for weight, I set up the dogs in either a sit or a down. You can do, he's like, oh, good night. You can do weights from a standing position if, let's say, sitting or downing is too hard for your babe because of either physical difficulties or mental, where they're not feeling as comfortable, comfort range offering a certain skill. So right here, I'm going to tell him to wait. I then would practice, like he's a bit tired, so I might technically start to generalize the skill with movement and distance. If, let's say, me adding movement and distance equaled he got up and he couldn't handle it, I would then go ahead and not add this much difficulty to the setup. So you want to think about those 3 Ds when you're training. So your duration, your distractions, and your distance between your pup and yourselves. So if your babe is really struggling, you may want to work time frame first, which is again your duration, and then throw in maybe distractions and distance one at a time versus all 3 together. So I might go, ready, Allston, come. He's like, oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly get up. So if there's moments where your puppy is really exhausted, I sometimes plop the food on the floor, see if I can get him to come up. Obviously right now he's done a few skills and there's at times only so much a puppy can do, and that's okay. So don't feel badly if it doesn't always look exactly perfect, especially when you're starting. Ready, sir? There we go. Nice. So come, and then we'll go ahead and he can reinforce himself with the snacks on the floor. So if your babe, and excuse me, I'm also getting over a cold where I lost my voice. Let me just say my 40th year has been really entertaining. I just turned 40 in August. So it's been a fun year so far. So right here, I'm going to tell him to wait, and then I'll go, Allston, come. Nice. So if your babe is really struggling, either lower the criteria or make the setup less challenging. If you're finding you're constantly repeating yourselves, or that your babe is just never quite doing as well as you were hoping, gauge, has your pup actually learned the skill prior to needing it in that moment? Have they been able to practice? Ready, come. Good boy. Yes. Have they been able to practice these skills in a calmer environment where their distraction levels are much lower, so you have more greater success for the setup? Other times, could we be dealing with a behavioral situation, growth spurt, developmental stage, fear period? So always think comfort range as well, because if we don't have their comfort or they're over exuberant and overwhelmed, then that means that your babe is more than likely not going to do well with the training session. So just like with us, if we were trying to learn a new skill, but we were having a panic attack or we're feeling really excited about a party or birthday party we're going to later, our attention span may not be there. So make sure that you sometimes give your puppy a break at times, in the sense of don't give them a hard time if they're struggling. Because if we get agitated, we get grumpy, we get physical or grumpy with our voice, then the problem there is your pup is going to start to think that when they're struggling, we get more grumpy or too rowdy, and then they may start to lose the trust that we might be trying to build for other situations down the road. So remember, pups are amoral, and also adult dogs, so any dog or puppy. So for them, they don't understand right or wrong. So this whole moral compass that we sometimes set up for dogs, like they should know when they're doing something wrong, is really problematic for the relationship, because at times your puppy goes from thinking you're safe to unsafe, and they don't realize you're mad at what they're doing. They think you're mad at them. And then that's what creates conflict and this inability for your pup to want to reach to you for the assistance or for those check-ins when you might need it in a safety situation. So we'll give Mr. A little breather. He did a really great job with his skills, and then we'll rotate through the beauties, and we'll just keep going for the rest of the day with all of the boys and girls. So nice job, Mr. Handsome. So we'll give him a couple little tidbits, and we'll call it a day for Mr. A.